Hi Chewies, here's Alexander, and today we have a painting tutorial about a Grey Knight Terminator. As you can see, I have already built him and released all the mold lines and fleshings. And what I will do now is prime the miniature with a colored spray primer from Army Painter. This is here Uniform Grey. So, and I'll be back when he's primed. Well, it's primed. I have primed him very slightly, as you can see here on the base. It's not 100% coverage, but that's totally okay. I just applied the primer so that the color itself will stick better to the miniature. I will use now my airbrush gun. This is a Pentax 200. I use now the Vallejo Model Air Color Steel. And for those of you that keeps asking, I'm using at my compressor a PSI rate of 25. So this will give it nice enough flow of the color. I used the airbrush instead of my normal brush because we want to have this this Grey Knight to be very, very clean and nice and shiny armor, and with a brush you don't get that smooth finish. So what I'll do now is just simply prime the whole miniature with this airbrush color. Very easy step, as you can see. And the noise in the background, this is my compressor, so don't worry about it. So out of a sudden we have a nice shiny silver Grey Knight Terminator. But we don't leave it like this. We will go ahead and really paint him in different shadows and all that kind of nasty stuff. So, I will let him dry now, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, now it's time to give this miniature shading. Normally, if I would paint a silver model, I would use Bada Black wash for it, but now the Grey Knights should be very shiny, and for that instance, I use a mixture out of a sullen blue wash, Bada Black wash, and water. And now I will apply this to the whole model. This will give the miniature overall this blue look that we want in all the cracks and crevices later. Just simply paint it on. So I will finish the process and I'll be back in a second. So Chewies, now that our base coat is dry, the miniature looks like this. And now we start to apply color. The first color coat is this one here. This is a 4-to-1 mix out of mithril silver and ultramarines blue. And what I will do here now is something very similar to every other miniature painting. I will cover the whole model with this color, but leave the cracks and crevices untouched with this dark blue. So we get in the end a nice, well, bright and shiny Grey Knight Terminator with some blue tint to it. Just like that. So I will go on painting the miniature in this color now, and I will come back And this is done. So now the whole model is painted in this bluish methyl silver, and as you can see here, the cracks are left with a shadow. But we will now increase this blue tint to it by applying very tiny little strokes of actual blue ink or blue wash to it. So, and for that you take your brush, put a little bit of wash to it, and then you wipe off the most excess of this wash from the brush to get a better control over the flow. And now you simply paint in some areas that you might want to have in this bluish tone. So now you need to be quick. This wash is still wet. Then you wipe off your brush, and then you drag up the paint at the corner. You see how you smooth that blue tone out so that there's not a harsh line. But you need to be fast. This wash also need to be wet at this point. So let's do this again. Wipe off the wash from the brush, then you apply it to the model, wash out the brush, and then you smooth it out. See? And that you do to almost all the areas. For example, here at the helmet. And be careful not to leave any water on the brush itself, so on the metal tip. What could happen then is, like you see here, there's a little water drop. If that runs down, it will flood the miniature and would ruin the effect. So always, when you wipe off your brush, don't make it so as flat as possible and turn it so that all the water from the metal part here is gone. That's really important. So, and you can see here now this nice blue tone to the helmet, and I will do this now over and over again here on the miniature. This might take a while, but the end effect is absolutely worth it. So, I will do this now to the whole miniature to show you where exact I have done this, and I'll be back in a second. Now that the stage with the blue wash is finished, it's time to actually paint in the highlights with methyl silver. And now you can see how bright this color actually is. With that, just pick out the top spots and paint them in methyl silver. Very easy step. And after that, the armor of this Grey Knight looks absolutely shiny and ready for battle. But keep in mind to not overdo it, so you can actually see the color transition between the blue and the dark shadows. Just pick out the high spots and everything is okay. So I'll be back in a second. So, and now that the hard part of the armor is done, we can go on and paint all the other details on the miniature. We will start now with the gold parts. All this rivets and text you can see here on the miniature. What I do now is simply apply the first base coat. This is my trusty mixture out of burnished gold, tin bits and dwarf bronzer, and it gives a nice undercoat for all the gold areas. So simply just paint it on everything that need to be gold. And as usual, I'm back when this is done. As you can see, all the gold areas are primed now, and now it's time to shade them. And for shading I use Griffon Sepia. Just apply it to all the areas that are supposed to be gold. And this brown wash will give a nice shade color and give this gold a more rich tone. I will finish this and be back in a second. While the Griffon Sepia is drying, I will apply now a base coat color of 50-50 mix scab red and blood red on the casing of the bolter. Also nothing really fancy, just paint on the color and try to make a nice even coat. Be right back. As you can see, I have also applied the red to the eyes and the purity seals. So, and what I will do now is highlight the bolter case with simply blood red. So just simply paint it on and leave the darker tone of the red in the recesses. Try to paint a nice even coat and everything is fine. So the same red tone I will use now to highlight the purity seals just around the corners. Like that. So now I will paint a tiny little drop of blood red into the eye, into the middle of the eye here. Like that. See, and now the Terminator has a really nice red eyes look and a good nicely highlighted border. So what I will do now is take a little bit bolt gun metal and correct here the border case. Not the border case, the barrels of the gun. So with simple bolt gun metal I will go now over this barrel of the gun. You can really see the difference in tone between bolt gun metal and mithril silver. But that's totally okay. This here is a bolt gun and not the shining armor. So I'll also apply this color to the rest of the bolter, like here the ammunition box. Like that. There we go. And also here the back part of the bolter. I keep saying bolter and bolter and bolter. Yes, I know this is a storm bolter. And my neighbors are making noise in the in the stairway, so I can't shut them off. What a pity. They are interrupting my tutorials over and over again. So I'll stop the recording right now. Sorry for the interrupt. And as you can see, I've now painted the barrels in black. And what I will do now is dry brushing the gold parts with burnished gold to give it a better shine. Just take an old brush, put on the paint, wipe it off on a paper towel until almost nothing is still left, and then just simply dry brush over the surface. Well, at these points here we can't dry brush because the surface is too small for this, and we don't want to hit the other surfaces around. So what we will do then is we take our brush, we take on the paint very slightly, not too much, and then we will very gently go over the top part. And that way we give it the needed gold shiny appearance. Very gently go over it. So I will finish that at all the gold parts and be right back. Next step, what we'll do is paint all the parchment from the purity seals in the foundation paint Caltham Brown. You see? Also, very easy step. Remember, painting is nothing to be feared. If you know the steps, you can paint almost anything. So, just overcome your fear, take your brush and paint. Everything will be okay. So I will finish this now and be back in a second. The next step on highlighting all the parchment will be a 50-50 mix of Caltham Brown and Deneb Stone. Just simply paint it on and leave all the cracks and crevices, all the rivets and the corners and shadows in the brown tone. And by the way, the brush I'm using here to paint the whole model is a number 2 Echt Rotmarder brush, and here you can see the price. €2.25. It's a very cheap brush, but it does a job. It has approximately the same size as the base coat brush from GW. So here, for example, at the books, just with a corner of the tip of the brush, you go over it and see, then you have painted the sides. Very easy. Nothing hard about this. Well, the rest is obviously the same, so I'll continue in a few seconds. The next stage of highlighting the parchment will be to put in a blob of bleached bone into the paint. And of course, water. Not too much, but a little bit. So that the color looks like this in the end. Not too runny, but also not too dry. So, and then you start really highlighting the color with this. Just a few streaks, leave a little bit of the other color behind, and then everything is okay. Just like that. So, and the last step will be then pure bleached bone. Like this. You see? Very easy. So, and in the next step, we will use a pencil, and for that I'm using here a Staedtler pigment liner 0.05. This is a very, very tiny pencil. And what I will do now is write in some inscriptions into the parchment papers. Well, I would if the brush would work. Damn it. Well, okay. The brush is damaged, so let's make it the old school way with brush and color. So I'll just use black. So, very carefully make fine squirrely lines on the parchment. Don't press too hard with the brush, and everything is okay. So, I will finish all the parchment now and be back in a second. So, now tubies, we are in the finishing touches of this Grey Knight Terminator. We will now paint the handlebar of the power hammer, and for that instance I use Butter Black Wash. I use this to, well, divide the weapon from the armor, just like I did with a bolter, with using bolt gun metal for the metal part there. So I know this isn't a force weapon that normally the Grey Knights wield, and you probably want to know how to paint those force weapons. Well, for this right now, I would suggest you click on this link that brings you to the video of my Blood Angel Commander. There I teach how to paint a green force weapon. And, well, wait for other tutorials in the near future. So, and I guess this Grey Knight is finished now. All I is left to do is make the base. I will do this and show you the end result. So Chewies, here we have now the completely finished Grey Knight Terminator. I hope you liked this little tutorial. And here I present to you an old Grey Knight from me. So, and here you can see the difference in the color. This is the shiny version with a blue metallic, and this here is a version where I have well, primed in black, dry brush with bolt gunmetal, dry brush with mithril silver, and then a little bit of the wash treatment like I did also here. But you can see this is a much darker appearance than this one here. Well, choose for yourself which one you like more. But for this tutorial, that's enough, and we see us in the next one. Your Alexandra.